Hello and good evening, Chicago. Welcome back into Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Wow, what a week we just had. Boy, the week in between the title game and the Super Bowl is supposed to be quiet, right? Not in the Windy City. We had the Blackhawks absolutely make fools of themselves at what was supposed to be an easy town hall meeting to rebrand the franchise and help them move past the Kyle Beach scandal. Rocky Wirtz apparently had other ideas on that front. The Bulls are set to tip things off here just about any minute over at the United Center for their fourth game in 5 nights. They've gone 1-2 in the first 3, and now they've got the Phoenix Suns. How are things going to look there on that one? We will check in on the Bulls throughout the night. And then, of course, we cannot get out of here tonight without talking the Super Bowl. I've got some memories, though, some stories from when the Bears were in Super Bowl 41 that I realized I haven't shared before, and I figured the week leading up to the Super Bowl was as good a time as any, so we'll take a trip back memory lane before we get out of here. All that plus more coming up tonight. Buckle on in for the next hour. We have got a lot to go over. I am Adam Karnick. Let's do this. Buckle on up. Let's have some fun. And welcome on in, everybody. I am your host, Adam Karnick. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight for yet another edition of Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio. Really excited and happy to be with everybody here tonight. Got a lot to be going over tonight, spraying to all fields. Going to be talking some hockey, basketball, football, maybe even diving into a little bit of baseball talk tonight and making a look at down in the college ranks before we get out of here. So lots to get into tonight. So without further ado, let's give acknowledgement to our sponsors for the evening. Get the prerequisites out of the way for everybody here. Starting off, of course, with the Southern California Warriors semi-professional football team. The world of semi-pro sports is unlike any other sports organizations. Players pay to play in hopes of so many different outcomes, whether it's playing to get filmed to try out for professional teams, big-time colleges, or just playing to stay in shape. No matter what, all semi-pro players have one thing in common, and that's playing for the love of the game. The SoCal Warriors have been on a quest to earn titles and give players second chances since 2017. Whether you're in Southern California or anywhere in the world, give semi-pro sports a chance if you love your sport. You may get that second chance you've been waiting for as an athlete. Find them on Twitter at SoCal Warriors, Instagram at Southern California_Warriors, or go to Facebook and search Southern California Warriors. And Background Check International. Businesses, are you looking to background check a new hire on? Let Kit Fremen take care of that for you. Kit founded and has managed Background Check International since 1994, and he's here to help you with the screening process. Contact Kit and let him help make the hiring process that much easier. This business is used for professional background checks and not for the use of any crimes, such as identity theft or any other illegal activity. Go to their website, bcint.com, or search Background Check International-BCI on Facebook. And IE Sports Radio is available to you on all the major social platforms as well. Whether it's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, just search IE Sports Radio. And also go to our website, iesportsradio.com. While you're there, you can check out all of the 30-odd shows that we've got going on in the network right now. You can learn about some of the different personalities here at the station, people such as Larry B., our founder, or Taryn Rodriguez, who's coming up tonight after us with another edition of Set Point. Or you can check out one of our newer guys, Marcus Vitale. I see him there in the chat room. Note that, yes, I'm name-dropping people in the chat while also mentioning them as hosts. Multitasking. We're getting multiple things done at once here tonight. And then also, while you're there, you can also check out things like our Fan of the Month. This month is Spuds Chat, who is a big Rams fan from San Diego. He has got to be absolutely over the moon that his team is playing on Big Sunday this Sunday. He's been a very frequent guest on 3 and Out throughout the playoffs, defending the honor of his Rams in mono-e-mono battles that are monitored and grouped by the one and only Larry B. And while you're there, you can also find the link to our Patreon page. And if you are so able, please consider becoming our Patreon supporter. We've got 5 different tiers. The tiers start at just $5 a month for a $5 donation. This gets you a shout-out on all of our shows. Thank you at Bay Area Raised and at MLOS Great for continuing to support us on Patreon. Higher tiers will get you access to things like IE Sports Radio merchandise or Podcasting University, or even a chance to be featured on your own segment of The Defining Moment with Larry B. If nothing else, thank you for just continuing to come here over the last 7.5 years at IE Sports Radio to support us and listen to us. We truly are by the fans, for the fans, and we are your direct feed for all that is sports. We really do appreciate your support in all that. And I mentioned that IE Sports Radio is available on all the major social platforms. This show is available for you as well. Check us out on Twitter at IESRC, or if you want to follow along with me personally, you can do that. Better yet, just follow both at IESRC or follow along with me at Adam_Karnick. If you are listening live here tonight on this Monday night, the first Monday in February, February 7, feel free, hop on into the chat. We'll find Larry and Taryn and Marcus there. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for hopping on in and being with here tonight. Or if you just want to sit back and listen, or you're listening later on as a podcast, I am here for your entertainment, and I am so glad that you are here, have chosen to make me part of your evening or part of your week. I really do appreciate that. All right, so let's get down to business, shall we? We are going to start things off in the world of hockey, specifically the Blackhawks. Last Wednesday, February 2nd, the Blackhawks hosted the Minnesota Wild and ultimately lost the game 5-0. It was their final game before the NHL All-Star break. That wasn't the story of Wednesday night, though. Before the game, the Blackhawks held a town hall meeting, which the purpose was to kind of rebrand the franchise and help to reset the record and get off on a new foot with fans and help to move past the Kyle Beach sexual assault story that has been dominating the team, all the news surrounding the team for just about the last year now. Suffice to say, though, that it did not get off on the right foot. There were some good things that happened and came out of it, some interesting news to be sure that at some point we will get into, but the big story, of course, was team owner and president Rocky Wirtz absolutely losing his mind when it came to being asked questions about the Kyle Beach situation. And I don't normally do this, but I want to give as much context here just in case somehow people haven't seen the video or haven't heard the audio from this. I'm actually going to play the video from it. I'm going to skip past the question and get straight into Rocky Wirtz's answer here. But suffice to say, just to give a little bit of context here, the question effectively that Wirtz was asking, he was asked by Mark Lazarus, who's an outstanding reporter for The Athletic, has done a great job of covering the team. He effectively, the question that he asked was, what are the Blackhawks doing as an organization to try and prevent a Kyle Beach-like situation from happening again? And here was what Rocky Wirtz had to say. And I'm just getting the volume turned up here so that we can get it. Here we go. Rocky Wirtz's answer and explanation on what the Blackhawks are doing to try and prevent another Kyle Beach situation from happening in the future.
I think the report speaks for itself. The people that were involved are no longer here. We're not looking back in 2010. We're looking forward. And we're not going to talk about 2010. I know, and I'm not either. And we're not going to talk about what happened. We're moving forward. That is my answer. Now, what's your next question?
I can pick up to what we are doing today. And I think
no, I don't know. That's none of your business. That's none of your business. What we're going to do today is our business. I don't think it's any of your business. Because I don't think it's any of your business. You don't work for the company. If someone in the company asks that question, we'll answer it. And I think you should get on to the next subject. We're not going to talk about Kyle Beach. We're not going to talk about anything that happened. Now, we're moving on. What more do I have to say? You want to keep asking the same question? You hear the same answer? Okay, ask the next question. Okay.
So that's Blackhawks owner, president, CEO, Rocky Wirtz. And for context, the person that he cut off there in mid-answer was his son, Danny, who has effectively been doing a lot of the day-to-day operations for the team for the last year plus with the team. He's eventually going to be the owner. How dare you, Rocky? How dare you? How dare you come off that this isn't something that Blackhawks fans or Blackhawks players want to have addressed and want to know about. And the question wasn't, yes, it was not a fun question. And obviously for the Blackhawks organization, this is a black eye. This is a massive scandal and story that has dominated the team, like I said, for just about the last 12 months and has completely overshadowed the dynasty that was 2010 to 2015, the golden era of the modern Blackhawks. It's completely destroyed the history of that dynasty. It's now completely overshadowed by this scandal. And the team just had to pay out a large, I'm supposing a large settlement to Kyle Beach in order to officially end the story. So I understand why Rocky would be a little bit salty, but how dare you, Rocky? How dare you? This isn't just bringing up a 12-year-old story just for the sake of throwing your team under the bus and throwing your name in the mud. How are you going to prevent this? He referenced that everybody from 2010 is gone. No, they're not. Your two most marketable players are still there, Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane. Anytime they take the ice, you're reminding your fans and the hockey world of the 2010 Blackhawks. You can try to pretend that that's not the case, but it is. And Toews especially hasn't exactly covered himself in glory with the way that he was the captain of the team even back then. And he hasn't exactly covered himself in glory the way he's responded to the Kyle Beach story, saying, well, that's not the Stan Bowman I know, when asked why Stan Bowman didn't do anything to try and stop it from happening. And there was more news that came out over the weekend that this is still a problem with the organization. They let one of their training staff at their minor league team up in Rockford They had to fire one of the members of their coaching staff in Rockford back in November because he sexually assaulted somebody back in 2014, and it finally just came to light. Now, I give the team props that it was brought to their attention in October. They immediately put that coach on a leave of absence, did their due diligence, did their homework, and found that what he did was wrong and reprehensible, and they fired him, and they got rid of him. That's a hell of a lot better than you did 12 years ago, where you didn't even want to listen to the player because, oh, man, we need this video coach to help get us a Stanley Cup championship. And then once this is over, we'll just quietly make sure that he leaves the organization, and we'll give him glowing reports so that he can go work other places. That's what happened back in 2010. Rocky, there was another reporter then, Phil Robinson from the Chicago Tribune, that then backed up Mark Lazarus' question and got into Rocky again, and Rocky gave it to him too. I'm not going to play that quote, if for no other reason than it's a little bit longer, and hearing one of them again is enough to make my blood boil again, as bad as it was on Wednesday. But in that response, Rocky whined, "Why isn't anybody asking about our general manager search?" Okay, Rocky, here's a question about your general manager search. What are you going to do to make sure that your next general manager doesn't tolerate coaches sexually assaulting players? There's a question about your next damn general manager. This is important. This is relevant right now. I'm getting caught up in the chat. Good evening, Mike. I see you jump in there. Yeah, I will need something a little stiffer than some wine after this. This is important right now. You know, the Blackhawks game last Wednesday was on TNT. It was on national television. And the TNT crew did a great job of picking up at the story and running with it. Wayne Gretzky, the great one himself, was saying, you know, if I were a parent of an 18-year-old kid, I'm not so sure I'd want them playing for the Blackhawks right now. I'm not sure I'd want them being drafted by the Blackhawks because I'm not sure that they're going to protect him. I'm not sure that they're going to take care of him. This is important. This is relevant. To give Rocky the tiniest sliver of credit here, he has issued 2 apologies since then. One came out just a few hours after the town hall meeting. The town hall meeting was about 6:00 Wednesday night. The first apology came out about 10 or 10:30, something like that. He and Danny then came out with a joint apology a couple of days later. Until it's got Rocky's resignation attached to it, though, it's not worth the typewriter he used to make it. It's not worth the keyboard he typed it up on. I had just started. I keep tabs on the Blackhawks for the show. I do a show with my friend Zach on Tuesday nights where we talk all things hockey. We have a lot of a neutral zone. If you were at all into a splash of hockey and a whole lot of silly, zany, we figure out where the show is going by the time the show is done, kind of an atmosphere, check us out tomorrow night, 8 Central, so just a little bit after this time slot. I obviously keep tabs on the Blackhawks for the show, for Neutral Zone. I had just started watching them as a fan and starting to put on some of my Blackhawk gear and slowly dipping my toes back in, just wondering, would it feel comfortable to be a bit of a fan again of the Blackhawks? Spoiler, they're not the most entertaining brand of hockey this year. They're having a very rough season. But that's so not the point with this team. And Rocky doing this, I've got to be done again. I've got to separate myself from this team. And I don't blame any other fan for wanting to do the same. The Blackhawks had a phenomenal sellout record before this season. Now, in reality, I imagine that the reason the sellout streak stopped had more to do with the on-ice product than the off-ice problems that the organization has had. But I know that there are parts of the fan base that it feels icky and wrong to be going to United Center and cheering on this organization. And I don't see it getting better. I still feel that Danny, the son, wants to do the right things. He wants to help the organization move past this. But as long as Rocky is there, and this is the first time Rocky has put himself out in public in a few years. But obviously, he still holds sway. The fact that he was there at the town hall meeting, the fact that question, which actually, the question was actually addressed to Danny, and Rocky decided to jump in and answer it. And then when Danny tried to salvage the situation, Rocky cut him off. Boy, how would you have liked to have been backstage after that was all done to see father and son have it out? Dad, what the hell were you doing? As long as Rocky is still attached with this team, I'm not sure I can watch him. I'm not sure that I can follow him any more than just what I need to do for this show to keep myself informed. Which is a shame, because I really enjoy hockey. I've loved getting to learn hockey over the last 12 years, thanks to the Blackhawks. I really have enjoyed it. But at this point, I think it's time that I need to find a new team. I've got to find a different team to pay attention to. Because this organization, as long as Rocky's still there, I don't have faith that it's ultimately going to get fixed. They'll pay lip service to it. Danny will genuinely try, but as long as Daddy is still there, I don't know that it's going to actually matter. And it's too bad. But they're going to reap what they've sown from this. And it's not good. All right, with that, we need to take a break. I promise the rest of the show is not going to be that intense or that fiery. When we come back, let's take a look at the Bulls. They are hosting the Phoenix Suns tonight. We will check in on them and also look at the busy weekend that the Bulls have had, both on the road and at United Center. This is Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's happening, sports fans? Are you a fan of Southern California sports? Are you looking for a show hotter than a hot summer day in California? Then look no further than the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, where I talk about all things Southern California sports. That's right, all sports teams from Southern California. From the hard-hitting tackles of the NFL, to the killer crossovers and big three-pointers of the NBA and WNBA, to the grand slams with the MLB, to the bone-chilling goals of the NHL, and to the booming kicks of the MLS, the SoCal Supreme Sports Show has it all for you. Oh, and let us not forget about the college sports as well. So join me, Taryn Rodriguez, every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Attention, all sports fans! If you're someone who wakes up each morning with a list of sporting events to go along with your to-do list for the day, then you just might be a diehard. The world of sports is as vast as the ocean is deep, including the major leagues, the minor leagues, the college, and everything in between. This is me, your brother Larry B of IE Sports Radio, welcoming you to join me every Monday evening at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on The Defining Moment, a show that focuses on what really matters in the sports world, sports themselves, and nothing outside of them. Once again, tune in for The Defining Moment with me, your boy Larry B, every Monday evening at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on IE Sports Radio, right here on Spreaker.com. We'll see you there.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
It's IE Sports Radio. It is your direct feed for all that is sports. It is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris every Tuesday night right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris is the most comprehensive view on Philadelphia sports exclusively right here on IE Sports Radio. You know what it is, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tuesday night, IE Sports Radio, Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris.
Motorsports takes many form, and there's one show on IE Sports Radio that's ready to cover it all.
I sure hope you're talking about you and I, Daryl, because I know the Extra Mile is the best place to go for everything motorsports related.
Yes, it is. From NASCAR to IndyCar to sports cars to everything in between, IE Sports Radio has everything covered for the fastest sport in the world.
Plus, don't forget all of our random shenanigans along the way.
That's right, Caitlin. So for plenty of motorsports coverage and plenty of Caitlinisms, check out the Extra Mile on IE Sports Radio with Daryl Kinsey Jr. and Caitlin Seam, Thursdays at 8 p.m.
And welcome back into Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I was liking in the chat room during the break there, getting some calls for hopping onto some NHL fan bandwagons. Mike, who he covers all things Washington, D.C. area sports, is saying that the Washington Capitals are accepting fan transfers at the moment. You know, having Alexander Ovechkin is certainly a feather in the Capitals' cap for joining their fan base. And Taryn Rodriguez saying with both the Ducks and the Kings all aboard the hype train. Yeah, the Ducks and Kings are both having strong seasons this year. One of the teams though that is kind of I'm leaning towards a little bit is the expansion Seattle Kraken. Those who have listened to the show for a while know that my sister is out in the Seattle area, so I have a little bit of extra fondness for the Great Pacific Northwest. And even though the Kraken are not having a great team by apparently NHL expansion standards, thanks Golden Knights for completely wrecking it for every other expansion team ever in the modern era. Part of me is leaning towards Seattle, or you've got the Carolina Hurricanes. There's some former Hawks players, most notably Teuvo Teravainen is out there, and I believe off the top of my head that my favorite hockey name, I believe, is still out in Carolina, Nino Niederreiter. I could just... I'm not necessarily a Hurricanes fan, and I don't have lots of extra cash, but if somebody wanted to just float me hey, you could pick any random hockey player to have their sweater, I would pick Nino Niederreiter in a second just because I love the name. So I appreciate that though. Keep the ideas coming. I'm all for it. On to the other tenants of United Center, not just the Blackhawks, a team that is not a dumpster fire at the moment, though on a little bit of rough times right now. The Bulls are right now. They're playing the Suns. It is 30-25 with just under 2 minutes, about a minute and a half left to go in the first quarter. The Bulls are on their fourth game in 5 nights. It wasn't originally set up to be that. They had a makeup game on Thursday against Toronto. Then they went ahead and played the Pacers last Friday night in a regularly scheduled game. Won that game. Had Saturday off. Played yesterday against the Philadelphia 76ers. Couldn't hold on to that one. Lost that one. And now they're playing Phoenix tonight. DeMar DeRozan right now, he's got 9 points to lead the way, at least for the guys on the floor. Yeah, he is leading the Bulls with 9 points. Zach LaVine is playing tonight. He's got himself 6 points so far from the floor. DeMar DeRozan, just, my goodness. I mean, he's got 9 points here in the first quarter against the Suns, and this is coming off of his just Superman effort that he put on yesterday afternoon against Joel Embiid and the 76ers, where he scored 45 points on 18 of 30 from the floor. Now, yesterday, the Bulls were without Zach LaVine, obviously still without Lonzo Ball, still without Alex Caruso. So DeMar kind of had to do that a little bit. You did have Vucevic adding in 23 points on 8 of 18 shooting, the Bulls still have just absolutely no answer for Joel Embiid. And that's, we've talked about it before, and I've checked in with our fast break. That's not right. With our basketball guys. Happy birthday to Davidson, by the way. Davidson Crooks. It is his birthday today, so happy birthday to him. Oh, yeah, fast break. I don't know why I was thinking that wasn't the name of the show. Fast break on Sunday nights. I've checked in with the fast break crew guys as well, and I've talked with Davidson about that, and that is going to be an Achilles heel for the Bulls getting into the playoffs. That, man, they run into somebody, if they run into a team that really can get the ball down low and just consistently feed that low post area, the Bulls are going to be in trouble defending that over a 7-game series. And Joel Embiid just continues to show that. But at the same time, nobody seemingly has an answer for Joel Embiid throughout the NBA. So that's not a problem inherent only to the Bulls. It's not a unique problem to the Bulls. It seems to be a problem everywhere in the NBA, that just the Bulls just fall in line with that too, that it's having a hard time covering Joel Embiid. Yet with all those injury problems and all those other issues creeping in, they're still just a half game out of first place in the East. That's impressive. I mean, we're talking about playoffs and what problems the Bulls might have in a playoff series. We're acting like it's just a done deal that they're going to be in the playoffs. And I don't think we're wrong to be talking that way either. I don't think that that's a bad attitude to have about this team at this point. They're 33-20. They're only a half game back of Miami. They're the same number of losses as Miami. So Miami's just played one extra game. Now we'll see what happens after tonight. Phoenix, the best team in the NBA right now, they've only lost 10 games all year. So we'll see we'll see how it is after tonight. There's a good chance that the Bulls will be 33-21 after tonight, but we'll keep an eye on it and we'll see. Maybe the Bulls will pull this one off. They have ended the first quarter. It's 36-29. So the Suns went on a little bit of a run there to end the quarter. Devin Booker just being Devin Booker. God, geez, Devin Booker, 16 points in the first quarter on 6 of 7 shooting. Good grief. Lonzo, get healthy. Not necessarily for your offense. We need your defense. We need that perimeter. We need Lonzo and Alex Caruso to get healthy so that they can guard people on the perimeter. Ayo's doing all he can out there, but man, Ayo Dosunmu, by the way, just every game there's something with him. Last night, he had the posterizing moment. He had the poster slam dunk. He had another one against Indiana where he sealed the game with a dunk late in regulation that just put the Pacers away, that just took the will to fight out of the Indiana Pacers. And oh, by the way, he had 14 assists in that game. I know I've said it before, but I'm going to keep saying it because I'm still stunned. How did he fall to the second round? Mike, you're here in the chat. You follow a little bit more hoops than I do. How? What was the knock on Ayo simply that he played 3 years at Illinois, and so he wasn't 18, he wasn't 19. He was a 21-year-old kid. Was that the knock on him? What was the knock on Ayo that bumped him down to the second round? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm glad. I'm very glad that he gets to play for the Bulls because he's been phenomenal. He has not played like a rookie. anytime Billy Donovan has gone to Iowa and said, hey, I know this maybe isn't necessarily fair. This isn't the best situation for you, but circumstances, whether it be COVID or injuries or the Bulls haven't done a lot of this, but they have done a little bit of load management. Iowa, we need you to kind of step up and have a little bit bigger of a role tonight. He said, okay, coach, I'm right there. And some nights he needs to score a little bit more. Some nights he needs to dish a little bit more. Some nights they just need some energy from a young kid. And he's provided that. Whatever it is that the team has needed from him in any given night, he's figured out how to do it. It's fantastic and fascinating to watch. And I am so glad that somehow the other 29 general managers in the NBA saw fit to have Iowa fall into the second round where the Bulls could get him. So we will keep an eye on the Bulls against the Suns here throughout the night. We'll give one more score update before we get out of here. We are going to take one more quick break, though. And then on the other side, it's Super Bowl week. Bengals and Rams. And, of course, everybody's gearing up for it. It's also been 15 years since the Bears were in the Super Bowl. And it came up in kind of our network chat the other day. And I realized that I don't know that I've ever really told my stories about Super Bowl 41 on here before. So I'm going to do that. We're going to take a trip down memory lane and talk about Super Bowl 41 here for a few minutes. This is Chi-Town Weekly on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
Are you a Minnesota sports fan? If you are, you should join me, AJ, on my Thursday night podcast called Frozen Takes with AJ on IU Sports Radio. I talk about all things Minnesota sports from the Vikings to Lynx basketball. Every week I talk about the good and the bad of sports in the land of the Frozen Lakes. Join me Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time for your Minnesota sports show on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Calling all Indiana sports fans, this is your podcast. Welcome to High Octane Entertainment on IE Sports Radio. Join me, Justin Lahr, as your host on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific to hear all the latest and greatest sports updates on everything from college to the pros in the great Hoosier State. No matter what, it's guaranteed to be high-octane entertainment. That's Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, hear me and hear me good. If you like sports, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. If you like comedy, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. If you like a different opinion coming from a different angle, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. So join me Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with your host, Jelani J.B. Bodie. And of course, my man Lopan on the WaitAMinuteShow.com. Ain't that right, Lopan?
What is going on, everybody? My name is Harrison Glazer, and we're coming at you from the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. I cover the Jets, the Islanders, the Nets, and the Yankees.
This is Pierre Moss, and I cover the Mets, Knicks, Rangers, and the Giants.
Our show is live every Wednesday through Spreaker and a bunch of other ways to get our content. Again, we're the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. We talk about all those New York sports. It's a lot of fun. We get into all of it. Please tune in. Again, that's Wednesdays at 6 p.m.
And we look forward to having you guys right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, everybody? This is Darren Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunderous Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back into Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio. I am your host, Adam Kernick. Got one more segment here for you tonight. Thank you so much again for tuning in. Good evening, Pierre. I see you just jumped in. You're just in time. We are going to take a little bit of a trip down memory lane. This past Friday, February 4th, marked the 15-year anniversary of the last time the Bears were in the Super Bowl. Or also, the day my heart broke. And as we're getting ready for Super Bowl 56 coming up this weekend between the Bengals and the Rams, and you can, if you want local content on both of those teams, be sure to check out Andrew Hagenbaugh and Taryn Rodriguez. Both of those guys do an excellent job with the state of Ohio and SoCal Supreme, respectively. Andrew's definitely going to be on Friday. Taryn, I know you're getting ready to do Set Point, bud, but when are you doing SoCal Supreme next? Normally, Taryn does SoCal Supreme on Fridays as well, but sometimes his schedule changes up. So you'll definitely be getting all kinds of up-to-date content from both of those guys as they get ready for the biggest week in football. But as we were discussing all things Super Bowl in the group chat, the network chat this past week, I realized that I don't think I have ever talked about and Taryn says he'll probably do his next show on Saturday. Ooh, the day before the big game. Excellent. Right up to the second. Outstanding. I realized I haven't really ever talked about some of my experiences with Super Bowl 41. Larry commented earlier in the evening, at the top of the show, he commented that he was yet a senior in high school at that time. I was in my sophomore year of college. I was out in River Forest at Concordia University. At the time, it was called Concordia University River Forest. Now it's Concordia University Chicago. Shout out Cougars. And of course, we were buzzing. We were all kinds of excited because for a lot of us, it was the first time ever that the Bears had made it to the Super Bowl in our lives. Again, preface this, I'm not old enough to have gotten to see Super Bowl 20 when it happened. I have watched it. I actually sat down over shutdown last April, and NFL Network put it up completely without break, without commercials, just showed the entire game. So I have seen the whole game stem to stern, but I wasn't alive to see it at the time in '85. And even if I was, I wouldn't be old enough to really remember it. So this was my first experience of the Bears being in the Super Bowl. However, I have never seen the thing front to back. Here's why. We had a concert that night. The Wind Symphony that I played with there at Concordia, Dr. Richard Fisher, outstanding musician, conductor, great guy, and outstanding music educator. At the beginning of the school year, he had said, it would be nice. We go on this tour. Every spring break, we would go on a tour and get off campus and be gone for 10 days. Well, that's really our first opportunity from the end of the first semester to be off campus and play. It would be nice to have an off-campus preview of some kind, just to get off campus and play. Because at the time, and I believe this is still the case at Concordia, we don't really have a dedicated performance hall for large group. We've got some small group stuff there at the university, but not really anything for the large Wind Symphony. So playing off campus was always a great opportunity to really get to hear ourselves as a group outside of a practice setting, because you sound very different in a performance space than you do in a practice setting. And so so they set it up and they said, oh, perfect. The first Sunday in February. Nothing goes on the first Sunday in February. This will be perfect. This will be fantastic. Now keep in mind, this is 2006. In their defense, from 1965 up until 2002, the Super Bowl had always been in January. So this is still only 5 years removed from when the Super Bowl was played in February. And the only reason it got moved into February was because the whole league shifted things after 9/11, and they decided afterwards that, hey, they kind of liked that schedule, so they kept it. So they set it up, and then it was only when we got into December that everybody realized, oh no, that's Super Bowl Sunday. Well, the concert itself will get done before the game. It's fine. Everybody that comes, because it wasn't far. We weren't going far. It's not like we were going hours away. We were just going maybe 20 minutes off campus into one of the burbs. I honestly don't remember where anymore. So we got done with the concert. Everybody will have a chance. Everybody that's attending the concert, well, they'll be able to get home in order to see the game. Yeah, but we didn't. So the concert gets done, and we're there. We're getting set up, and I made a comment as we were getting set up. I made a comment about how maybe something would happen. The concert would get canceled, and one of the organizers overheard me and made some disparaging remarks about how we just would be missing things like interceptions and turnovers. And I could tell that clearly he was not pleased that me, a member of the band, was hoping that the concert would get canceled. So already we're starting off on the wrong foot there. So the concert gets done, and of course, everybody in the audience flees. I mean, usually we would have people stick around and interact with us and talk with us and get some different, just feedback on, hey, what's it like to play in the group? Where are you guys going? Oh, what do you think of this music? And kids as well. We'd interact with kids and, oh, what is that thing? Oh, it's a trumpet. Oh, how do you hold it? Like this, or what's that big thing over there? Oh, that's called a marimba. Oh, and interact and engage with kids and get them excited about music. No, this one, I mean, we got done playing the last note. The place scattered. I mean, it was empty within 3 minutes because the Bears are playing in the Super Bowl. This is also 2007. Smartphones were not common. So we were as we're trying to tear down and pack stuff up, we know we're not going to make it in time for the start of the game. Hester has his return. Everybody's phone blows up. Everybody starts getting texts and phone calls. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Devin Hester returned the opening kick for a touchdown. It's never happened before in the Super Bowl. Oh my God, this is the Bears. Oh my goodness. And I'm just sitting there. I'm excited that the Bears are in the lead. And I'm just mad as all get out because I'm not able to see it. We at that point, I mean, stuff got just thrown into vans. Stuff just packed up. It's, hey, we'll make sense of it when we get back to campus. The driver of the van that I have, because we're going in groups, right? There's 6 or 7 of us in a van. The driver of my van happens to be a Colts fan. He wasn't sure where to find the game, so I'm of course telling him, "Oh, here's where to find the Bears. You know, here's where to find it. WBBM 780." He then realizes that it's the Bears radio, and wants nothing to do with it. He wants to find a neutral radio. I, of course, was no help at that point. I didn't have text messaging at the time. So I'm not getting texts. Instead, my mom is calling me about every 30 seconds to give me an update. Oh, Hester returned the opening kick. It was amazing. It was insane. It was incredible. And then Peyton Manning drove down, and Chris Harris intercepted him. The Bears couldn't make anything out of that. Then Peyton Manning drove down and got a score, but they missed you wouldn't believe it. They missed the extra point. So even though the Colts drove down and scored, the Bears are still ahead. It's 7-6 Bears. They're still up. And then, just a couple minutes later, Rex found Muhammad in the corner of the end zone. It's 14-6 Bears. This is amazing. And I'm missing the entire damn thing. Don't get me wrong. I was glad for the updates. I was excited as all get out. I get back to campus. We just throw everything into the band room. No rhyme, reason. The game will get over. Somebody's working in security. Somebody will have a key. We will figure this all out later. There is a game. There is the game to be watched and experienced and had. I finally made it to my girlfriend's house. That's where I was watching the game, was at her house. I finally made it there about 5 minutes before halftime. Got to see that. Got to see Prince perform in the rain. And then proceeded to watch Peyton Manning absolutely dissect the Tampa 2 defense. And then watch Rex throw a pick six. And my heart split in two. I couldn't move. The game ended. I couldn't move out of my chair for 15 minutes. All right. So I just wanted to get my Super Bowl 41 story out. I have since gone back and watched the first quarter. I have no compelling reason to watch, and it took me a couple of months even just to watch that. I have no compelling reason to watch any of it ever again. maybe if I'm fortunate enough to see the Bears ever win the Super Bowl, maybe I will unearth it at that point and pull it up and watch from that point on. But until then, I don't think I can bear to watch anything further than the first quarter. As for this Super Bowl this Sunday, I know everybody's favorite right now is to be sitting with and predicting and riding on the Bengals, and they are certainly hot. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are certainly a thing. The Bengals have a hard time pass blocking, I have the feeling that is going to play right into the hands of Aaron Donald and Von Miller and former Bear Leonard Floyd. I think that Stafford is a competent enough quarterback. He'll be able to get the job done. I see the Rams winning. I do see it being a bit of a high-scoring affair, but I'm going to go with, we'll say, 33-28. We'll go with the Rams, or 33-27, rather. The Rams taking care of business against the Bengals on Super Sunday. All right, that is going to do it for our show tonight. Thank you to our sponsors, the Southern California Warriors, for Background Check International, for continuing to sponsor not just this show, but all of the shows here on IE Sports Radio. Thank you to Larry for all the hard work he does in keeping this station afloat and keeping everything moving. Thank you to everybody that hopped into the chat. Thank you to Pierre and Marcus and Mike. Larry was there for a little bit too. Thank you to Taryn. Stick around. As soon as I push the button here on this tonight, Taryn is going to get things rolling with Set Point, get us all caught up on the outstanding world of volleyball. You will hear me next tomorrow evening with Zach Puplis. We will do Neutral Zone, be doing a recap of the NHL All-Star Game, and also in the Olympics. It is Canada versus the U.S. here in just about 2 hours on that puck drop. I will absolutely be clued into that. We will be breaking that down, plus all sorts of other fun, crazy, our usual brand of sports silliness. Until next week, let's see. Next week we will be, of course, breaking down the Super Bowl. I want to talk about the craziness going on in MLB baseball, all that and more. Until then, be safe. We'll see you next week.